Well, let's look at the Uttar Pradesh story. And right after Maharashtra and Delhi, Uttar Pradesh is now becoming the hotbed of the second wave of corona infections, with close to 30,000 cases in the last 24 hours being reported and a steady rise over the last few weeks. Reports of mismanagement and unavailability of medical facilities have increased despite this claim by Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, which has stirred up a honestness. Listen in.
आपने देखा होगा ऑक्सीजन की क्राइसिस दिल्ली के अंदर है, यूपी के अंदर ना के बराबर है। जो ये कृत्रिम अभाव पैदा करने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है, ना बेड्स की कमी है, ना ऑक्सीजन की कमी है, ना रेमडेसिविर की कमी या किसी अन्य जीवन रक्षक दवा की भी कमी नहीं है।
In fact, the Allahabad High Court came down heavily on the state for oxygen unavailability and apathy to the citizens. Court observed that patients were forced to carry their own cylinders and refilling of oxygen wasn't prioritized by the state. The court has warned the state of giving uninterrupted supply of oxygen for the people, and not a single citizen should be left in the lurch. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the big question is UP geared up to face the challenges of the second wave of COVID-19? That's the question and the debate coming up. Janta Mange Jawab. That's the hashtag. And joining me on the other side are the opposition and the party representing the government in Uttar Pradesh. And my first question to you, Dr. Shambhit Patra, is simply this. Dr. Patra, the reports that we are quoting are statements made by the High Court. It's true that High Courts in several states have wrapped governments in power on the knuckles. There are problems. But then why would the Chief Minister come out and say कि सब कुछ ठीक है, कोई problem नहीं है, problem black marketing है? तो अगर जो भी problem है black marketing की है, तो उसे solve कौन करेगा? बाहर से तो कोई आएगा नहीं, Chief Minister को ही solve करनी है.
Navika, you're absolutely right. I mean, I would like to be extremely sympathetic, and I would like to have the ornament of empathy with me, because people would not otherwise like it. Well, yes, there is situation in Uttar Pradesh as well as in most of the states. And what Mr. Yogi Adityanath meant to say was, well, yes, as far as black marketing, voting, etc. is concerned, these are problems and concerted effort are being taken to control them. Remember, even NSA would be, in fact, imposed on the people who are into hoarding and black marketing. The steps have been taken. As far as one other good step taken by the Uttar Pradesh government is, if a poor man does not find a bed in any Sarkari hospital, in any government hospital, that any burden financially that he or she would face by taking admission into a private sector hospital would be borne by the state government. But I agree with you that despite all these good measures by the Uttar Pradesh government, there is something which I would say is more wanting, as in most of the states. While Mr. Yogi Adityanath says so that there is no amount of panic and people are reassured, we have Sonia Gandhi also in Maharashtra, who has today said that she's extremely satisfied and happy the way the MVA government has managed the corona situation in Maharashtra. While Maharashtra carries 60% of the cases, and we have 942 deaths in Maharashtra.
So you are saying you are going to follow Sonia Gandhi. She is your role model. And that's why you what is happening in So then why talk about Sonia Gandhi? Why don't you talk about the state of Uttar Pradesh? Ghanshyam Tiwari of the Samajwadi Party joining the debate. And Ghanshyam Tiwari, I want to ask you, it's not just the High Court talking about oxygen availability or bed availability. The fact is also that there have been discrepancies in the number of deaths. Uttar Pradesh is not the only state. There have been such discrepancies reported from other places as well. But there are videos, there are pictures that have come out. Do you think, Ghanshyam Tiwari, something like death should be talked about in a manner of a statistic? कि नहीं हमारे 200 मरे हैं. Are there any brownie points being given to states because they are under-reporting deaths?
Navika, I will say three things. One and foremost, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister has no clue. He's the wrong man in this job, in this crisis. He misled the country. He was busy campaigning. Now he has no clue how to manage this crisis. He will do the best way he can save lives today in Uttar Pradesh is to set himself aside. Let a professional team take over and manage, because district after district, start from Varanasi, the Prime Minister's district. You go and find out the prices of paracetamol, go and find out the prices of ivermectin, Tosili, remdesivir, you will not find it. Prices of anything that goes with oxygen support, you will not find it. The price that people are paying at the hospitals is obnoxious, is high, and it's just tragic. So, starting from that aspect to the point of death, where people are carrying their loved ones on bike, on e-rickshaw, and not finding the right crematorium is horrific. Yogi Adityanath must kindly remove himself from the job. He can only intimidate people, file FIRs, and mislead with death numbers. You spoke about death numbers.
No. Ghanshyam Tiwari, that's very easy. That's very easy to say. How many chief ministers have ensured that there is nothing wrong in their states, and how many of them have resigned so far? As Mr. Ashok Gehlot, can he promise that nothing wrong has happened in Maharashtra, where hospitals catch fire, twice a week, where people die in states where in certain hospitals there is no oxygen availability and people just die within hospitals? How many of those chief ministers have resigned?
Well,
why in such a time? I mean, you can question administrations. You can question administrations. You can ask them to improve the systems. You can raise issues and concerns as an opposition party. But to say that everybody is should be resigning, how many have resigned so far, Dr. Patra, in many states?
With all respect, I would say I had
being in that
my
job
first statement.
Did
I disturb you, sir, when you were speaking? Please allow me. It's my turn now. Navika, in my first statement itself, I said that in fact we have to empathize, and there is something more in wanting as far as all states are concerned. But I firmly believe that the Samajwadi Party should not try and preach us, should not take a high moral ground, because Akhilesh Yadav was the one who came out and attacked the vaccine system in this country, the vaccine policy in this country, saying that this vaccine is a BJP vaccine. No one from Uttar Pradesh should get vaccinated. People in Uttar Pradesh should get vaccinated only when Samajwadi Party comes to rule in some time in the future. So this kind of irresponsible behavior by the Samajwadi Party, which is for the country to see, I firmly believe they are not the fit ones to come out and preach at others. But of course, we all have to work together without any politicization to see to it that every state moves in the best direction.
In many states, there are problems. The problem of the second COVID wave is being felt in many parts of India. Some states need to gear up with courts taking note, and now that the courts have taken note, we do hope things will improve in Uttar Pradesh. But even as political differences stay, I want to point out to just one little sweet story that's coming in from Rajasthan. And this is about a 105-year-old man and his wife who have recovered from COVID and returned home. It's a picture that warms the cockles of your heart. This is also possible. This is also a story of hope that somebody who's past 100 years of age can also come back after beating COVID. Let's look at the positive side of things, and let's not just have a situation where confrontation and criticism becomes the bane of our lives. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the News Hour. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow on the same show.